mean, I've seen victims of electoral violence, and I've said this over and over again. I went to the observance of the anniversary of what happened at Ayawaso West Wogon. And Sana, I saw people who would never be able to work again. I saw people who would never be able to walk again. I saw people with mutilated bodies and so on. You understand? And I saw people who have family, they have children, who have to be cared for and so on. Who for the only reason that they went to cast their ballots were fired at by a state-organized gang. State-organized, government-organized gang. And I sit back today, and sometimes I watch the videos of Ayawaso West Wogon. If you watch those videos, sometimes it looks like the stories we hear about Papa Dog and Baby Dog. You know, about the era of the Tonton Makuts and so on. And I wonder, and I've heard many other stories about those who were killed and so on. And I think that we have to do something about this situation. And one of the things that we can do about this situation is to re-establish the facts, to investigate these matters, and to make sure that the law takes its course. And that's why I was so very happy in the first instance when candidate Mahama promised that these matters will be investigated and that there will be action taken. You understand? That those responsible will be punished. Now, Sana, I was more than happy when the process of inquiry was established and it began to work. And I should have been even happier when the report of the inquiry was made public. Unfortunately, most unfortunately, the Minister for Interior misspoke. He misspoke and has led to all kinds of things. Can anybody deny the fact that death was recorded in elections 2020 and 2024 in that constituency? What is it, Kasoa? No, not Ayawaso. Nobody can deny the fact. People died. That is one of the most volatile constituencies in our country. There was one instance when the sitting member of parliament actually admitted that she went to the polling station with a gun and she fired the gun. Her own admission, her own words. So you see, when the Minister of Interior spoke and gave the impression that nothing untoward happened in that constituency, it was exceedingly worrying. Because something happened. You understand? And because the Minister of Interior misspoke, it has led to all kinds of consequences. I mean, debates, arguments about what the facts are. The current sitting member of parliament has had to hold a press conference. The former sitting member of parliament has had to issue a statement claiming she's been vindicated. There was one instance when she was actually on a radio station praying to God to forgive those who accuse her. And so on. And it is difficult for me to tell what happened. what really happened and what is really contained in the report of the inquiry. You know, so I'm dying to see a copy of the report of the inquiry. I'm sitting back and I'm saying, look, perhaps what the inquiry said was that some facts could not be established because witnesses refused to come forward and speak. That's fine, no problem. But to say that witnesses did not come forward to speak and therefore nothing happened, when we have dead bodies as evidence, it's a bit problematic. You know, it's quite problematic. So I want to understand what is contained in that report. I haven't read the report, which is a handicap for me. I haven't read the report at all. What I know is what the Minister of Interior said, the reaction of the former Member of Parliament, the reaction of the sitting Member of Parliament, and the reactions of the public. That's all I have. Okay. So I'm really, really hoping that in the days ahead, I'll be able to get a copy of the authentic report to read in order to understand all of these and to place them in proper perspective. But otherwise, I think the fact that it appears that the Minister of Interior misspoke has more or less devalued and otherwise something that we should all have cherished and praised. You understand? But whatever it is, the figures are staggering. The number of dead, the number of injured. If I remember correctly, 14 people had varying degrees of injuries. And about 5 or 4 people actually died as a result of election violence. You know, and I hear this, and I compare this to what happens in other countries. I feel embarrassed. Masa, you go to a country like Cuba, you know those who supervise elections. You won't find one gun at the polling station. School children actually supervise elections. And sometimes when you tell others, they say, oh, because there's no competition. It's a lie. Elections are contested vigorously, seriously. If you want to be a member of parliament in Cuba, you have to come up with your plan. You have to show what you're going to do in the community. You have to be discussing the health needs of the people and how you're going to meet them. You know, it's vigorous. And yet it is being managed, the polling station is managed by school children. You know, but there's something else. I told a friend of mine who was so surprised. In a place like Cuba, being a member of parliament is not a job. You understand? So Sana, you are the presenter of a morning show in Radio Gold. When you win elections as a member of parliament, you remain a presenter of the morning show in Radio Gold and take your pay as presenter of the morning show in Radio Gold. When there's a parliamentary session, they have parliamentary sessions. Radio Gold then releases you to go to parliament and serve your community. When you finish, you come back to Radio Gold and work. There's no ex gratia award. There's no Article 71 office holders, nothing. So if you're a teacher, you remain a teacher. If you're a university professor, you remain a university professor. No special privilege. And it works.